She raised two great valedictorians, like two killer academic superstars in Didi and Veer, but I was never the academic superstar. I was never the one who did the puzzles. I would sit in my room and play video games like more than anything else. I was by all means a very, very not promising child in terms of like grand wealth. Now, does that mean I don't believe I have what it takes to achieve that? No. But according to that quote, which is why, and I'm not even gonna get into it because everyone tells me I talk about it too much, but I hate quotes.
This is the Zarna Garg Family Podcast, and today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, motivational quotes. I love quoting. I love quotes in Hindi. I love quotes in English. I love quotes in Gujarati. I love reading Chinese quotes, Japanese quotes, proverbs.
Sub coach.
Wow, he even knows Hindi. That is impressive. Really, good job.
Wow. Okay, we're off to the races already. So who wants to go with their most favorite quote first?
If we are going to do quotes, then we have to start with my dad's favorite of all time.
All right, well, everyone's going to do this. We can all just say one. Let's go in a circle. Dad, you can start.
Okay, go with your dad's favorite.
But this is really deep and everyone in India knows it.
No, people
Karmanye
can miss...
vadika raste mahaphaleshu kadachana, which means that you can only control action but not the result of that action. So it's from the Gita. My dad quotes it all the time. I think that 9 out of 10 Indian people know the quote. So it's not like a revolutionary quote. It's just a very well understood.
Can you literally translate it a little bit so people who
Karmanye vadika raste mahaphaleshu kadachana. So karmanye vadika raste means karm. Just keep doing your, what you can control, which is your karmas. What's the English word for karma?
Karma.
Karma is not an English
Your
word.
duty.
Your duty. Keep doing your duty. And the fruits will follow. And you cannot do your duty with the expectation of the fruit, because that sort of defeats the purpose of it. Krishna said that to Arjun in the battlefield and as I said, out of the 1.5 billion Indian people, 1.4 billion know it. So I'm not saying something too prolific. It's a very well-known Indian quote, but one that is pretty incredibly well-rooted in
Okay,
in
I'm just
philosophy.
going to make an edit on asking people to name their quotes. You cannot tell people that it's deep.
Something about quotes, like, it feels so much more powerful if it's in a native language. Like, if it's in a language that you don't speak, it feels so much more powerful for whatever reason. I don't know why, it just does.
Yes.
But coming back to the Gita, it is full of so many interesting and incredible quotes, especially coming out of Krishna, the main protagonist of the whole story in some ways. I mean, even though the fight is between brothers, but he's the one guiding the whole thing.
He kind of cheats.
I mean, he doesn't cheat. He's God. He can't cheat.
He cheats for one side.
He's just playing the whole game because he's God and he wants human beings to understand the right versus the wrong and all that.
So he puts his finger on one side of the weight scale.
To always make sure that the righteousness wins. But along the way, he says so many unbelievably good quotes in that scripture, in that book, that I really, again, I can't recommend it because I'm pretty sure half the audience already has read it and the other half has it on their books to read. So I'm not going to do that. But irrespective, it's an amazing book to read for quotes.
Okay. You have your quote?
I have two. One is one that I can't really relate to as much right now because it's definitely something that somebody like Mom or like Elon Musk could relate to.
You put Mom and Elon Musk in the same thing.
Like that caliber of you're just very successful people. It just feels like you're on top of the world when you hear this or read this. They ask what I've been up to, just staring eye to eye with people I used to look up to.
Oh.
Say that again, Veer. I didn't actually follow it properly.
They ask what I've been up to, just staring eye to eye with people I used to look up to.
Oh.
I feel like Dad didn't get it. I feel like he's just pretending like he got it. Everyone go, oh,
Okay,
he's
so
like,
can you explain it then?
Okay.
I feel like
they've been asking what I've been doing, like I've been quiet. Just staring eye to eye. So being level-headed with people I used to look up to, with people that were more successful with me. So I've grown so much in success that I'm level-headed with these other people.
Got it.
The other quote is from a controversial person, but I think we should separate the ideas from the person, so I'm just going to say it regardless. It's the idea that you could walk down a straight line if it was on the ground so easily. But if you take that same straight line and raise it 20 stories high, you're going to be so concerned with the idea of falling off the actual line that you're going to fall off of it.
But that's a quote.
It's not a quote,
But
I obviously
who's the
didn't say it word
controversial
for
person?
word. It's Kanye.
Oh.
And the idea is that if you place so much pressure and so many bad negative thoughts in your head, eventually they're just going to overtake you and swarm you, and you're not going to be able to do anything.
Wow, deep. Okay, I'm not supposed to say that.
You just
But if
broke
you
your
found it deep, you can comment below, because I thought both quotes were. I thought I was gonna have the winning quote moment, but I need a minute now. Do you
What?
guys want?
What? That's not the
no,
point
I'm
of
changing
this.
the quote.
It's not a competition.
It is
Yeah,
a
it's just
competition.
naming a quote.
Okay.
Now everyone wants to be like the next coming of Shakespeare. Why can this just be a fun quote episode?
Yeah.
Well,
I
also
don't
quotes,
wanna-
the valuation of quotes has been diluted because everybody is like a motivational guru
Yes.
online. So you got to think of a quote that's not all over and it's not viral on Instagram. And otherwise people are going to think that's where you saw it and you didn't see it on a podcast. It like became suddenly difficult.
When did you study all these quotes? Because you really do have a quote for almost every circumstance.
I can answer that question. If you read her book, you would know this. And I've actually learned this about so many people from seeing it in you.
I've read it multiple
The
times.
most, I don't know how you don't know this. The most successful people in the world are people that are deeply invested in reading when they're young.
That's Kat.
A lot of them. Now, it's obviously not everybody, but the reason Mom has so much knowledge to pass down to us, and the reason she'll just drop some crazy quotes and stories at midnight, is because, all right, I don't want to say it anymore.
You know what? No, wait.
say it.
That wasn't a reaction by you. That was just me thinking about something.
She read so much that she just like knows everything, and
No.
she has a moment for everything.
It's a facade though, because I know why she truly has so many quotes, and it's not because of the thousands of books she's read. It's because late at night, she will spend an hour scrolling on X, and then she'll look at those X posts, see which one has the motivational part, and send that to everybody with a yellow highlight around the actual quote, even though we can all see it.
That is
That
true.
is how she finds that.
I definitely lurk on X and I don't post as much because X intimidates me a little bit. Elon, if you're watching, it's a very bro manosphere space and it's unfortunate because the women want to get involved, but this is besides the point. You're right that I spend a lot of time on X, but I've been collecting quotes since I was 10. I mean, do you not remember all the walks we've gone on? And I'm like, you would be like, what's that quote? And I would be like, oh, I think he's referring to this one. I mean, the one that I've been obsessing over recently is the one that I said a few episodes ago, that the reason to be nice and to be kind is that the axe forgets and the tree remembers. You have to always err on the side of being kinder when you're dealing with people, because when you're doing something harsh, you will move on because you did it. But the person who got affected...
Actually, don't know
you
about
may-
that. It comes back to bite at you, like yes, in the moment you will move on, right? In the arrogance of the moment, because that led you to
Yeah.
do what you did. But, it's a long marathon of life, right?
Yeah.
So when many years have passed by and things may have changed again, and, as they say, the coin may have changed shape and people
I
are in
think
different
the
positions.
flip, but yeah.
Flipped. But my point is that at that point, when you look back at it,
It's okay, I got what he's saying.
I was so confused.
Yeah, I was
when he-
confused too.
Like, did
What?
the coin
I haven't
not
heard that one
more
before.
I think
metal?
it meant water has changed shapes, but coin has flipped.
But the point being that, and at that point you may look back at it, but you can't
Yeah.
sort of change the tide of time, right? You can't go back and say,
Are you saying this because you have some personal feelings attached?
I mean, Bridge particularly asked to not get into.
No, but I'm not. This is not a fight.
I actually think your quote is
But
good.
yeah, it is. It is
But it's
personally
not
attached.
great, and I'll tell you why. It's because your quote is on the basis
Wait,
that
who? Can you specify? Mom's quote.
quote.
Okay.
Mom's quote. Her quote is on the basis that if you hurt somebody, you will forget, but they will remember for a long time. But I think what your actual philosophy is, if you're nice to somebody, you'll get a lot in return because niceness creates more niceness. So I think, do you see the difference?
Yes.
It's the same thing, but it's the opposite.
It's not the
Yeah, but
fear
it does
of the
work.
karma. It's not the fear of the
it's
karma.
not the fear.
I generally,
Yeah.
for my sanity and for my ease of living, like to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
To a crazy, ridiculous fault, and I've been told that all my life. I once had a babysitter who worked when you guys were little, who told me that I thank her so much it makes her uncomfortable. She's like, you pay me to do this. And I said, I'm sorry, but thank you so much. But so I get it. And I think a lot of women out there are that people pleasing, is a thing. But
I think it's an important distinction because if you're a viewer, I don't want you to take away the idea of don't be mean to somebody because it'll affect them. But even more so, be extremely nice to somebody because it'll make the world and also yourself a better place. Like, I think that's an important distinction.
But you were saying something and you got cut off.
Yeah, I was just saying that, yes, I mean, I would absolutely like to change so many things of the first, 10 years or 15 years of my life in America, but.
Like what? Like, give an example.
I mean, I would like to have, in hindsight, be more involved with my kids and not be the absentee dad that I was. But I don't know how to explain that to a 23-year-old scrawny kid from random Indian town trying to make a life in New York City, insecure about everything, all at the same time. And seeing that insecurity. Today, I'm not that man. I'm a lot more secure, intelligent, handsome, in shape and man, right? But that's
Yeah, I
not.
just slipped that one in.
But that's not who I was as a 23-year-old. And you and I were married at 23.
Yeah.
And about to have, and you were pregnant at 26. We had Zoya at 27. Both of us being. I'm just saying that, and with no family in New York, no family in America to guide us, help us with the amount of stuff.
Actually, this
But
brings me-
that doesn't change the fact that I'm not excusing all of it. I wish I could change all of that, but I can't. It is what it is.
This actually reminded me of a quote that I completely disagree with, but is out in the zeitgeist a lot. What you're expressing in a way is hurt people hurt people.
I've heard that one.
You've heard that, right?
No, I don't know about
that somebody who's gone through hard circumstances is going to put that hard circumstance on other people.
Right.
And I don't feel that
To be
that's...
honest, I didn't even go through hard circumstances. I don't look at my 20s and memorize them as, oh my God, they were such strugglesome. Whatever I touched turned to gold pretty much. Literally, as you know, we made 7 figures before I was 25 years old. So I don't look at that as, I think that maybe if there was more hardship involved around those things, then the success would be more sustainable. And
So then how do you reconcile what you just said before this, where you were like scrawny 23
I'm just saying that it was
who
the
doesn't
mix
have family, who's an immigrant. Like
I'm saying it's a mix of
I'm not
insecure-
fighting.
I didn't say anything.
But I'm just trying to elaborate.
I'm just saying that the absence of a plan around that success, understanding that success can be very temporary in nature, and that the insecurities that one is feeling or I was feeling were could have been dealt with in a communicative, different way, and just all of those things put together could have led to a very different outcome. We never had any family, pretty much. My mom and dad were in a town in India where they were hardly ever involved. Your parents had unfortunately passed away. And even though you have older siblings, it's not like a parental relationship that we had with them. That he
All right,
could
do you
have
guys have your quotes ready or no?
Why are you interrupting me?
Like, come on, that was like we got into a little bit of an extended
was a little-
tangent there.
But I
You got a little
enjoyed
lost.
your
I enjoyed
quote.
it too. I actually thought the first part was really interesting.
Okay.
Okay, and you do need to get quotes ready. This was a episode about quotes.
Nice, let's do this.
My films have amazing quotes. Rocky has Goodfellas.
I
I
Rocky, they have
didn't
the
know
best
that
quotes.
we were preparing quotes ahead
You
of
guys
this
be prepared.
episode.
There's no like
Quotes and
quotes you
everything,
remember.
right?
I mean, okay,
What,
there's a few. There's
drop in the jar or something.
No,
Drop,
there-
raindrop in the.
no,
What
there's-
about the Gujarati quotes? Zarna?
Yeah, I was just gonna say this Gujarati quote my parents shared with me last night, which they can express in Gujarati about how one sheath
That
can't
was in
hold
Hindi. That was Hindi.
two swords.
Yeah.
I thought that was beautiful. I love quotes. I think anyone that studies ancient texts in any way, so whether you are studying like the Gita or any of these heroic ancient epics, they wrote in such flavored, direct imagery and quotes because they were trying to motivate people to go to war. A lot of the heroic epics in mythology that were derived from religious texts were created so that men would read it and understand what their duty and courage and purpose was meant to be when they went into war. And so when you think about what a quote has to do for your mind so that you can then conduct bloodshed, that is really why quotes are so powerful. Now they've manifested into Pinterest and, like all of a sudden an Instagram story will say a quote. But the original purpose of it was a real tool of like violence and,
I actually didn't know that. That was very interesting, right?
Well,
होनहार वीरवान के होठ चीखने पात. Is that a Gujarati quote?
Hindi.
No, what's the equivalent that your brother-in-law always says?
Morna inda chitarwana pare.
I love that quote. Even
What
the
does
way,
it mean?
especially the way he says it.
You translate yours and then I'll translate.
Mine is, होनहार वीरवान के होठ चीखने पात. Yani, in the sense that a kid who is intelligent and destined to do great things will show the tendency of it in a very, very young little age. And each one of our kids did, by the way.
I feel like Baya was a late bloomer.
I want to make it clear, I did not show any promise as a child, and I talk about this extensively. Mom has been writing a new book, and I have my own small segment of it where I talk about, it's a chapter about valedictorians and how to raise children valedictorians. That's I think that's the name of the chapter, is how to raise valedictorians is the name of the chapter. And it's about how they obviously raised us, a lot of us, we've all done academically well so far. I've even gone into a good college, but the whole point I was trying to make in my segment was she raised two great valedictorians, two killer academic superstars in Didi and Veer, but I was never the academic superstar. I was never the one who did the puzzles. I would sit in my room and play video games more than anything else. I was by all means a very, very not promising child in terms of grand wealth. Now, does that mean I don't believe I have what it takes to achieve that? No, but according to that quote, which is why, and I'm not even going to get into it because everyone tells me I talk about it too much, but I hate quotes. I'm very against quotes. I'm very against quote culture.
What?
I actually think that the quote on an Instagram story is more powerful than the quote in the ancient Roman times text that she's talking about. And I just dislike all of the quotes and the quoting culture and how people believe that these ancient quotes are so beautiful and tell such a great story. I don't think it's so at all. And most of the quotes that I hear around my life have never ever been aligned with me. They're always aligned with a person who's doing well, the person who does something, the person who's in some sort of specific circumstance, the baby, what is it? You can tell a success from a baby by the way they kick in the crib, right? That's a very famous quote.
That's another Hindi.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he knew that quote.
Yeah,
So-
how did he know that?
Because I think about these quotes, I'm I wasn't the baby who kicked in the crib in a very particularly successful way. I just laid there in the crib and slept. I don't know, I didn't know that there was more to do in the crib. But the idea is all of these quotes. First of all, I think it's another one of those things that's you will seek out the quote that you want to hear in that moment.
Yeah.
So you will just if you're feeling you're being so nice to people and people aren't being nice to you back, you're going to look for the quote that says, oh, the one who is nice will get the cherries when they blossom from the tree. There's some sort of some sort of variation of something that'll make you feel validated in the moment. It's similar to you seeking out interviews or your Instagram feed when it comes to the content you seek out. It's you'll see
So
what you
there's
want
an
to see in that
algorithm in
moment.
life, not
No,
just
in
on
the whole
social
thing,
media.
there's an algorithm.
There's an algorithm in life that you seek out and attract what you're putting in.
And it's a false escape too. You should always, I always say this, and it's a broken record. So many things I say on repeat. One of the things I say on repeat is you have to put yourself in a position and where you're consuming uncomfortable content that you don't agree with, content that makes you feel wow, I wish I hadn't seen that and I saw the reverse of that, content that just genuinely makes you think, I never thought of that before. Whether it be because you hate it, whether because you never considered it, or whatever it is, you need to seek out that type of content so you can actually make informed opinions and ideas about what it is you're trying to evaluate. But if you're constantly thinking, oh, I'm chasing a career that obviously requires you to do something or maybe be more patient when everyone else isn't, and you're looking at all these quotes saying the patient one is the one who leads to this, or the one who works on their art but doesn't care, the people will find the art doesn't find the people, which I'm not even gonna get
You
into
just
that
dropped
quote.
quotes while you said.
But Bridge, I know what quote
Wait, so
you
when-
like.
wait, hold on.
Wait,
When-
can I?
Yeah.
No,
finish?
so I have something to say.
No, but I know of what one quote that Bridge really likes, which is that there's nothing more common than a educated man. The quote from the founder.
There's nothing more common than an unsuccessful, talented man.
And the quote is about how there are so many men and obviously women and all people, but men who have such great educations and have such great ambition, and there's nothing more common than someone who's unsuccessful who seems to have all these traits.
And the most important word, talent. A lot of people are born with amazing talent, incredible talent, but that doesn't automatically grant you success in life. It'll mean you get a nice starting jump, right? You might get ahead of people really fast, Like, for example, dad is really, really smart and he's naturally born very smart. So I'm sure in many categories you excelled way past your peers very early on. Like,
You're right
you were
about
very
that.
early on, right? So it's like these talents, and that can be a hindrance in itself because you rely on your talent so much, you never develop the work ethic to match up for the time when the talent gets caught up for everyone else.
Yeah.
You see that in sports all the time where like a basketball player will be so unbelievably talented. Everyone's like, how can he jump that high and run that fast? But he ends up having a lackluster career because he never had to develop the work ethic to go along with it. Versus you'll see players all the time. Jalen Brunson, who just won the NBA Finals, right? He just won. Everyone's talking about near Knicks superstar. Everyone said he didn't have what it takes to win a championship. He's not big enough. He wasn't talented enough. He wasn't fast enough, athletic enough, defends enough. All of these things. But he's the one who won the chip. Right? He's the one who won the chip because when it came down to who put in the work, he put in the work. And I think that's the one quote that I kind of completely align with.
So when are
So
quotes
do you
helpful?
put in the work, Bridge?
Huh?
Do you put in the work?
I believe I put in a lot of work. I don't know if it remains to be seen whether I put in the work or not.
When are quotes helpful then?
Quotes are helpful if you're feeling really down and you need something to make yourself feel better. But I think it's like the same thing as eating ice cream to me. It's like if I'm looking in order to feel slightly better about my circumstance, or I'm very uncertain about what I'm doing in life right now, and I need something to just ground me, quotes can be a perfect time for that.
But you believe the quote addiction is real.
I think it's 100% real. And I think a lot of people, maybe in this family, have an extreme case of quote addiction.
He's obviously talking about you, Mom.
Me?
Yeah.
Why did you look at me? You was not. I don't think you was talking about me. Were you?
Who are you talking
I'm not
about?
talking about anyone in particular.
Bridge, you were talking about somebody.
I was just saying that like quote addiction is a real thing and it can be a very
I've
big
done
distraction.
quotes my whole life. Now you're gonna blame that on Instagram
I didn't
before
say
it
you.
was even around.
I'm saying
Everything
Instagram.
in life is not
I'm saying
Instagram.
Instagram is better than the
I mean, it's
Roman
actually a
ancient
very
text.
intelligent point that Bridge made, that quotes are kind of like a escapist thing, effectively. You're looking to escape hard roads
But that's
and hard
life.
work.
I mean, like, no, you don't
In
sit
many
there.
ways, not very
like,
different
if you're
from-
stuck in life, you don't just sit there and be like, I'm going to stare at blank space until I resolve this.
That's
What is
true.
wrong with the
That's
string
a
of
good
words?
point to use quotes. I agree. But
What
it's
is
also
wrong with
equally
it?
true that people now will be doing something very, very much not what they should be doing and validate it because of quotes. Like that is also equally true. Or like the people will find the art, right? That's a very famous quote that you famously disagree with completely because people, theoretically, if you make incredible art, it should just be seen. Like you made an incredible masterpiece, people should see it and that should be how it works. Obviously now in reality that never happens. Like you can make the nicest movie, you can make the greatest like painting ever, the greatest song, and literally nobody will care at all. Right? Because it's your responsibility now to make sure your art gets seen by people. But people, I'm sure there's millions of artists out there that because they believe they have such good art are suffering and they're reading those quotes saying the art will be found
You
and
have
it's
to
killing
pick
them.
what makes sense to you. I mean, a couple of things. When at the beginning of this whole monologue, when you were talking about how people find, it just feels like a certain type of person writes the quotes. To quote that feeling is a very famous quote. History is written by the winners. Nobody is losing and dying and thinking, let me write a motivational quote about this. Yeah. So
written by the winners.
that's one problem. And the second thing is the quotes, what they do is they give you a short encapsulation of what it is that you're dealing with, and they make you feel smarter. They really do. If you drop a string of words that kind of feels like it's making sense, it feels like, oh, wow, you must be a smart person.
You know what
Quotes can make people perceive you as smarter, which I think is important.
Yeah, of course.
Like one of the reasons I see you as so smart and that maybe they see you as so smart is because of your storytelling abilities and the stories you're able to tell, because I guess that's not as much quoting.
I mean, do you not remember when you were in high school, the one quote that I gave you?
Of course, and that quote was really impactful.
See,
but
one quote can change.
One quote
a whole
can
thing.
change
Yeah.
a lot, but that doesn't mean that gives you an excuse to spend hours searching through every single quote in order to find
Well,
it.
it takes a lot to
quote-
find the winning
that quote,
quote.
that
What was
winning
the quote,
quote,
the high school quote?
Hold on, that winning quote found me. I didn't find the quote. I wasn't looking for quotes and I stumbled upon it. The
But your
quote found
mother
me.
was looking for years and found it at the right time to pass it on to you.
No, I
also
hear what you're saying,
But someone
Rich.
like if the quote I actually think that was a cool quote. The quote will find you. I actually do believe that. Like when I think of the times and where like a quote has really helped me, it has never been because I was searching up or I was looking at my Instagram stories, I was reading some text. It was literally always something in life threw that quote at me, and it was just like, wow, that really makes sense for where I'm at right now in life. So the quote that she's talking about, to go full circle about the idea that I was never the really talented kid, was that there was a high school placement exam. I did very poorly on the high school placement exam, and I didn't get into the high school of my choice. So as a result, I had to go towards public, not specialized schooling. So it's where all the people who didn't get into a school through testing had to go. Both my sister and brother did get into the schools. Well, my sister got to the second school of her choice, and my brother got into the first school of his choice by miles ahead of all the other students. So it's like, for me, it was a big, big failure. And she told me when that happened, the amount of respect you give something is the amount of respect you'll get back from that same thing. And that quote really helped
No,
me.
you butchered the quote.
How was that a butcher of the
Solve
quote?
it.
No, I said the amount of respect you give to the thing is the amount of respect other people will give to that thing. That if you, yeah, first of all, that's true.
You're talking with respect to his high school?
Yeah, what you're saying is true. Actually, that's a Hindi quote.
Can you say it in
Jitna good डालोगे उतना मीठा बनेगा. Like how much sugar you put in something, that's how sweet the dessert will be. That's what you're talking
That's what
about.
I'm
That how
saying.
much respect you will give, you will get back. But at the time, it was embarrassing because he was a little, his sister was a superstar. And I said to him, you don't need to worry about other people's feelings. If you give respect to your school, other people will give respect to your school. If you are constantly apologizing for your experience, they will make fun of you for it because you are apologizing for it. I remember when I did comedy in the subway and in the backyard for $2, I took it seriously, like life or death. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, without a
And
doubt.
because I did, nobody dare make fun of me. Because I took it so seriously. I chase people out. This is a thing in my comedy shows. If you don't laugh at the right times, you're not invited back. Because you gotta be smart to be sitting in my audience. I would rather have 2 smart people than have 50 dumb people in my audience. But that's because I treat my shows with that kind of respect. And I was telling him that you give respect to your school. What you get out of it is in your hands. But if you take it seriously, everybody will rally around you. And I've seen this. We've seen this. We have friends. We have friends who took up jobs that 20 years ago were absolutely, we were like, what are you doing? But they had a vision, they had a plan, and we all like came together and look, and myself included. Like people used to laugh at me with all my plans. But I kept going with it, and then I built something out of it.
I've been thinking a lot about what a stand-up comedian actually does beyond making you laugh. Because I recently watched the Joan Rivers documentary and I enjoyed it so much. I think documentaries are also a really interesting
Lot
case
of quotes in
study
documentaries.
of quotes, of motivational content. Like I'm sure that you could do a whole rebuttal against documentaries as well for the same reason that quotes are overused and overindulged in. But what Joan Rivers was she was so truth-seeking, and what all of her jokes did was it literally unveiled this truth that everybody understood, but no one was able to say. And that's what a stand-up comedian does. That's what Mom does. And I think that's why you like quotes so much, because there's something so truth-seeking about a quote. There's such an honesty to it. And it's so distinct and clear. And
it's brief.
And it's
like
brief.
The brilliance of a quote is in its brevity. It's
Yes.
like how few words can you use to express how big of an emotion. You cannot ramble on and on. That's not a quote then.
I'm
Then it's
hungry. Is that a quote?
dog.
It can be in certain circumstances. Like when you think about it, when a sports player loses the game, they always say, "I'm so hungry now."
No, what? They're not actually hungry.
No, they're like.
No, they're saying, I want the
wanna
win.
They might also be hungry to just play the game. I mean, you came up with one that you have on all your T-shirts.
Yeah, that's not a quote. I wouldn't call that a quote.
Why
I would
not?
call
It's
that
a
like
quote.
a
A motto?
and a
Slogan?
motto, like not a quote. That's like more of like a
A slogan.
like a slap in the face is how I call it. Like it's a slap in the face. It's a reminder that you should always be okay. What she's talking about is I came up with this slogan called "Seek Embarrassment." It's 2 words about how I believe that every single person. I believe that seeking things that are perceived as embarrassing are a very, very high likelihood chance of leading to something very positive at the end of the road. And I really, really believe in it. I've indulged in it many times in my life, and I still to this day like that slogan, "Seek Embarrassment," drives everything that I do. And I wouldn't say it's a quote of like it's not deep. It's not like, oh, this is so like deep. It's like, yeah, like go seek embarrassment. Go do the thing that you don't want to do. That's how I view it. That's how I hope people perceive it as like, oh my God, like it's so simple, but it makes so much sense.
I've met so many people who have been so affected by that quote because at one point he was selling merch and people bought his merch and they wear it to remind themselves that slap of the face all the time, which is really special. I also really like "Greatness Cannot Be Orchestrated." That's a mom
That's
quote.
an original from me, even though you tried to
made
adapt.
that one?
It's just not a quote.
It is.
Like every person in history has said that.
No, nobody has said that.
Like
Who said
hundreds of people have
greatness
said
cannot
that.
be orchestrated?
So how come you're
has
not
been
quoting
said.
something from Latin? I mean, I thought you would throw something out.
They're all about war and like
Super
killing
Bowl.
people.
Carpe diem.
No.
Seize the day.
Agricultural.
No, I think the Roman quotes are Bridge would hate every single one because they're all about character and courage and your reputation on Earth, given that time is brief, needs to be spent doing something very useful. And they were very obsessed with usefulness. And yeah, I don't think it's Bridges' style.
Shalabh, you have another quote, a popular quote? What do you use to motivate yourself? Is there anything that's like in your mind, something that you were told growing up?
I mean, like, I generally derive all my quotes from movies. I love watching underdog movies where the underdog wins. And in Rocky V, Sylvester Stallone's character, Rocky, he trains a young kid to fight. And at the end of it, the boy becomes really arrogant and starts to fight Rocky in right next to Philadelphia's subway somewhere where the train is upstairs, like a very brawny area. And he beats Rocky up. And Rocky remembers how, the bell hasn't rung yet. And he always portrayed this idea that until you're willing to get up, you're not yet defeated. That was Rocky's entire...
It's not over until it's over.
It's not over until... So he would always get up for one more round, which is kind of like Bridges' idea as well. I really enjoyed that. I find that very inspirational.
In my
To
opinion,
not throw in the weapons of...
not throw in the towel, but
not throw in the towel, yeah.
in my opinion, it's a lot easier to drive direct motivation out of experiences of frustration and anger than it is out of quotes. Because quotes are things that were made in other people's lives that were situationally made. But if you are to derive that same mad energy out of your own experiences, it's so much hits closer to home than any quote that meant a lot to another person. So if you're, let's just say in the gym, as an example, and you're lifting weights and you're on like those last 3 reps and you want to get them up because you want to end on a fire set, you think of, as an example, that promotion you didn't get, or you think of that test you just failed. You can think of anything bad in your life and you can channel that frustration into harnessable energy.
I fully agree.
God, like you talk so well.
Most people's motivation comes from a bad place.
Yeah.
Okay, one last quote that Mom came up with I also enjoy. It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. I thought that was very clever.
that's not me.
But also a very well-known quote. That's
That's
not-
not
That's
me.
not you.
Somebody else
Fight
came up
in the
with
dog.
it. I paraphrased it, I think, but that's not me, but I've heard it and I've used it many times to motivate myself, especially when I'm in situations where I know I'm in over my head and like I'm surrounded by very big, heavy-hitting players. I have to remind myself that it's not about their iconic status. It's about who's going out there and fighting hard enough, and that everybody has an opportunity to win. But I am famously like obsessed with quotes. Please feel free to drop quotes in the comment section, your favorites. Any today that you liked. I'm not very pro the Gita quotes and I'll get flamed for it because the guy who made all these quotes famously cheated in war and helped one
My
side
God,
cheat
that
and
wasn't
win.
cheating. God cannot cheat by definition.
Why?
Because God is God. He's just trying to, guide humanity towards the path of righteousness.
But then
How
why fight to begin with? Just let one side win.
because he needs human beings to understand and reach their own way.
Okay. Anyway, regardless. Anybody else have anything to say about the final quote?
Mom, just go to Good Grades Garg.
Huh?
Just go to Good Grades
Go,
Garg.
okay, I'll drop with one more quote.
She wanted to drop one.
No, because
You were
nobody-
waiting for someone to
I
segue
thought
you.
you guys would really be brimming with enthusiasm for quotes and nobody's got anything. Nobody,
so
none
many
of you
now.
guys watching have
It's
quotes
just like
that
all
you're
the
just,
quotes are the same. It's like the one I came up with is progress outlives projection. But it's like I realize
What does that mean?
it's
Wait.
nice. It's good to think of. Like actually making progress is so much easier than posting on your Instagram story about making progress.
Oh my
but
god!
it's what everyone
These
says.
episodes somehow became like a trolling session about Instagram and X and
I
all.
agree.
my
I
God.
don't understand it either.
Huh?
I was the one saying Instagram
That's
is
not
better
no,
than
that's
I'm
fine.
saying
That's
it's good.
No, that's not what I was trying to say with mine. But it was like never mind.
Okay, Mom, what was your quote?
Blood is thicker than water.
No, do you want to know the real quote? What people who don't have super tight families say, mud is thicker than blood, but blood is thicker than water.
Is that mud is thicker than
Like mud is like the people who surrounded you that aren't related to you directly.
Wait, that's
That
a thing?
you
Mud
Yeah.
is thicker than blood. Blood is thicker than water.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like it doesn't. Because it's like the people who you grew up with when it was really tough. Those people are the ones that are real people.
And just to throw one in there, a bonus quote for people. All of you are aficionados, unlike my thankless family. The wound is where the lights come in. Yes. So if you are wounded in some way, if you're damaged, you've been through life, those wounds and damages are there to show you something, to get something new in and out of you. And I am you as I got wounded by my family today about this quotes episode, which I thought was going to be sizzling hot. And you can see the enthusiasm around me right now. Sometimes this is what you have to deal with. As we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, so too we're going to end this episode with good grades with Garg, where each Garg gives another Garg an A grade for the winning moment of the episode. Who wants to go first?
A grade to Bridge for his vulnerability.
A grade to Mom for making good arguments against my argument.
A grade to Bridge. I thought that, it was amazing. What the monologue that Bridge laid out, I thought I really enjoyed hearing it. And I didn't know that he hates quotes that much until today. I learned something completely new.
A grade to Dad for the Shawshank Redemption moment.
I was going to close with one more quote during the grade session, but I won't because that won't be right.
No, tell us now.
I mean, I love saying, are you a wolf or are you a sheep to you guys? And I feel like it has guided you guys. You can be a wolf or a sheep.
What if I
but
just
you
want to be a
cannot
sheep? What
no,
happens then?
You cannot want to be a sheep. That was wrong.
I thought it was,
wanna
are
be
you
a
an
wolf,
eagle or
but
a lamb?
What if I want
That
to be a
also is
wolf,
true.
but I don't have claws?
What?
I don't know. Where it's bordering on unhinged now. Actually, there is one. What if you don't have claws? I have the answer for that. The antelope rises every day because it knows that it must outrun the lion so it can live. And the lion rises every day knowing it must eat an antelope so it must win in order to live. So you have to decide, are you the antelope or you're the lion? That is,
Either way, you're gonna rise.
either way you have to rise and you have to fight.
Wow.
Good response.
Because life doesn't stop for anybody. I really hope you enjoyed this episode because you took me back 25 years to that quote, which used to be a motivational poster somewhere, but stuck with me for life. And if you enjoyed this, even if you didn't, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. Send this episode to your friends and family. We want all of you in our family. Until we meet again, everybody stay.
Bye.